Senator Tom Cotton joins us now of Arkansas. He sits on the Armed Services Committee. Senator Cotton, good to have you with us. You, of course, are a veteran yourself, and this is a former two-time defense secretary. Your thoughts on his passing and the conversations that we're having here right now?
Yeah, Martha, well, Don Rumsfeld had an incredible life, very well lived. He was a Navy aviator before he went into public service, served 3 terms in Congress, was elected when he was 30 years old to Congress from Illinois, and then he was our ambassador to NATO and the youngest Secretary of Defense ever. He left government for 25 years, but then he returned as Secretary of Defense again. In fact, he was the Secretary of Defense when I joined the Army in 2005. So I just think today is a time to reflect on the life of service, the deep patriotism he reflected, and also to send our condolences to his wife Joyce of, I think, almost 70 years, and also to his family. America has lost a true gentleman and a true patriot today.
You know, there's been a lot of discussion. Obviously, you and I have talked about this, about the military today and the direction that it is taking, and whether or not, it has become sort of focused on some things that maybe it shouldn't. I know General Milley has said that's absolutely not the case. But, as you look at that and you look at the leadership of Donald Rumsfeld, who also, as he admitted when he resigned, was the brunt of a lot of criticism at times. What are your thoughts on sort of then versus now?
Well, both times Don Rumsfeld took over as Secretary of Defense, he was dealing with a military that needed to modernize and look towards the future. In the 1970s, we were coming out of the Vietnam era. We were transitioning to an all-volunteer military, and that was a good transition. And then obviously you had the Reagan buildup. In 2001, when he became Secretary of Defense, our military was trying to move from where we had been for 45 years, prepared to fight a heavy mechanized land war against a peer like the Soviet Union, the kind of war that we were ready to fight, and we obviously won very easily in 1991. But that was no longer going to be the fight of the future. We're going to have the kind of low-intensity insurgencies we fought. Fighting was going to occur more in places like space or in cyberspace. And Don Rumsfeld, even when he was in the business world in the 1980s and 1990s, remained engaged. He sat on public commissions, and he rang the alarm on a lot of matters. You were talking about terrorism earlier. He was talking about the importance of missile defense as well in those days. So both times when he became Secretary of Defense, he took charge of a military that needed to begin to update and modernize its doctrine and its tactics and its operations and its equipment, and he succeeded in those efforts both times he was Secretary of Defense.
Yeah. Senator Cotton, thank you very much. Good to have you with us today as we remember the life of Donald Rumsfeld, two-time Secretary of Defense. I want to bring in now